Oh, they were up there by the signage.
Oh, they're outside, okay.
Oh, okay.
Okay? Ready to take.
Cause it was one meeting, she had me saying something and I didn't speak, and I've been waiting to do that same.
Oh, yeah.
Because she had said, okay, I'm gonna put you next one.
mistake. I'm okay, I'm not on there.
Good morning, everyone. I'll call the meeting of the Finance Administration Committee to order since we do not have a quorum. This will be an information-only meeting. So while I'm here, that's a roll call.
Thank you.
As far as the adoption of the agenda, we're going to add an item under new business. Dr. Alice Gordon will be conducting the evaluation of the CEO program. Will give us a briefing on her program for us. And that's the only other thing we'll add to the agenda for today. We'll skip the approval of the minutes. Okay, so now we ask for our Chief Financial Officer for an update, if you will.
Good morning.
Morning.
Director Parker, other board members, and Director Shaw. I'm Glenn Dickerson, Chief Financial Officer here at BJCTA. It's my pleasure this morning to present to you the August financial statements. So 11 months into the fiscal year, we only have 11 months left. At this point, we've set the course for the fiscal responsibility or fiscal direction of the organization. And because there hadn't been any hiccups or big blimps, we're tracking in line with the budget and tracking in line with the expectations. There's normally just a few points that we try to make sure that we are adhering to and tracking when you look at how you're doing fiscally. One of those is how much money you have in the bank. In our business, cash is king, and you probably heard that before, but I'm pleased to present to you this morning that our cash balance at August stands at about $18 million. And we still have about $3 million that we need to collect from one of the cities. So once we get that in, we have over 21 million, over 20 million. So that's a good and that's a positive sign. Another item that we need to keep track of, we tend to keep track of, is how we're tracking against the budget. I want to ask you to turn, well, I guess if you wanted to turn to a page, you can turn to the page where it does a comparison on the budget. That's page number 4. Actually, is page 12. So if you look at page 12, I call your attention to how we're tracking against expenses, where you see operating expenses in the middle of the page there. And you look over about the third from the far right column. These numbers compare the 11th month's actuals to the 11th month's budget, 11th month budget. And you see a bold number there, $2.4 million, right at $2.5 million. So this is telling us that our expenditures, when compared to an 11th month budget, we're tracking below the budget by $2.4 million. That shows a couple of things. First of all, it shows that we're actually maintaining and tracking against the budget in a favorable position. That means department heads are actually keeping up with how they're spending money and making sure that they're spending money in accordance with the strategic plan and the plan of the organization. So that's a big positive for us. We budgeted a total of about $41 million through the fiscal year in operating expenses. And we'll probably come in about $2 or $3 billion lower than that at the end of the year. One of the things, we never did implement purchase transportation that we thought we'd do in the city of Homewood. And also, we had, along with that, a marketing campaign. Because we didn't do those things, marketing expenditures did not get spent as planned. But overall, we're happy to see that the department heads have taken ownership of their budgets. They're actually making sure that those budgets stay within reasonable realms. And we're taking corrective action whenever we see that somebody's actually spending above the budget. Sometimes some things happen that you don't anticipate in certain departments. We had a lot of vandalism actually at some of the platforms that we had, so we had to spend more money in those areas than we anticipated. But overall, I think we're doing well there. And that pretty much concludes the presentation this morning. I think we're doing really well when it comes to our fiscal responsibility, when it comes to cash in the bank, when it comes to managing the budget. And I think that's what you really want from an organization, a mature organization. So once you actually set a good course of action and you actually have good controls to make sure that you're maintaining that course, you tend to end up in the right place at the end of the year. So that's what we expect, and I think that's what we're getting. So kudos to our department heads and kudos to the entire staff for making sure that happens. So that concludes my report this morning, and I'll field any questions you have.
I have no questions. Thank you.
I have one question.
Oh, one question, yes?
There we go. Gotcha.
I was looking at the money market, there was a significant decrease. Is that, I mean, I was just wondering, is that just the
Right,
market?
okay.
fluctuation?
Good point.
What page you on?
That's
Page
on
13.
page. What page is that?
13.
13. Actually, let's look at another page on there that kind of explains it, and you'll see it here. Go to page 11. Well, the page that shows all the cash balances. My pages may be a little different, but there's a section. So if you look at, I think it's page 9. You look at page 9. You see the different cash balances there. This schedule, if you're looking at page 9, this shows all the different bank accounts that we have and where our money is actually deposited in those bank accounts. Now, is that?
You want this?
Yeah. Yeah, page 9. So you'll note there that one of the things we did, and we've been actually trying to get this in place for a quite while now. At PNC, because we had so much money in the bank, we wanted to make sure that that money was earning as much interest as we could. So we recently implemented with PNC where we had a sweep account initiated, where we take all the money out of the operating account each night and put it in a sweep account. That sweep account is invested in overnight investments, and it earns a higher rate of interest than you would if you kept that in a checking account. So if you see in the money market account, if you look at the month, actually it's in the operating account. Now, were you talking about the money market account or the operating account? Money market?
Money market.
Okay. Well, let me go over this and then we'll get to your particular question, because this is something that you really need to look at. If you look at the month of August there, when you look at the operating account, we started with $20 million in that account. We deposited $2.7 million, but we took out $23 million. That $23 million actually went over to where you see the sweep account. That account is a new account. So that sweep account is the account where we're investing those funds overnight. So the key was to take money out of these accounts that was not earning much interest and move that over to the sweep account where the sweep account is earning more of a higher rate of interest, and that gives us a bigger return on our funds. So, does that answer your question?
It
Or do
does.
you have a
It
particular
answers.
question? Okay.
On that point, I think it'd be helpful if in the income operating statement, if you have a separate line for interest earned for money market and for night rollover,
Okay, okay,
so we can see how effective it is to
okay,
make those nightly investments.
okay, great point.
Is that possible?
Yeah, we'll do that.
Okay.
We'll start doing that. I know Director Cunningham had his hand up.
Oh, I was gonna say that those markets tend to be market driven, so the fluctuation comes in as a result of what the market pays.
Yeah, the fluctuations
It
comes in
fluctuates.
at the Fed rate, the Fed rate goes
Right,
up and
right.
down, so
Yeah.
that overnight investments are in some ways tied to the federal
Yeah.
rate, that they set.
Yeah.
And it can swing, it doesn't swing a whole lot, but actually the key was to get money from a checking account that earns very low interest to an investment account that earns a high rate.
Most of those are in cash equivalents, which is still based on the market.
Yeah, we're still safe.
The beta will be small, they're designed for it to have a small beta or fluctuation. So we'll see that from time to time because of the investment instrument, and we really don't want to put it into a riskier market, but we don't have one with a small beta. That's the up and down, so that beta is gonna be real small, but it will fluctuate based on the return.
Great point, Director Cunningham. Any other questions?
One more question. Page 4. Page 4,
Page 4? Okay.
those two federal assistance accounts, I was just trying to wonder, could you explain that? Federal assistance accounts on page 4, the two top ones, the actuals are pretty low.
Oh, the federal assistance there. Okay, that's federal assistance for capital. So we budgeted, if you recall, about $617 million that we were gonna spend in capital. And because the projects really got delayed, we didn't spend as much money in capital. So when you don't spend as much, you don't draw as much. So really, the drawing from the federal government, especially for capital, is tied to how much you're spending on federal capital funding grants. The biggest project we had, the O&M facility, is moving now, but you know, during the course of the year, it didn't move as fast as we expected it to. We put that money in the budget in case it did, so we'd have it there, but it's been delayed. So you'll see.
Let me say not delayed.
Okay.
It was in planning. So now, as we already reported in previous meetings, you'll start to see the increase in that capital funding because we're moving to construction and pre-construction for O&M facility and construction for the BRT platforms. And the mobile application is going to launch. So things that were in planning are now moving to implementation and execution.
Is there a deadline on that one?
No, I don't think so.
There is a deadline on the federal money, but that's years out, and, you wanna comment to that?
Yeah, so most of our federal awards have a 3 to 5 year life cycle, and we track those quarterly via milestone progress reports. But we have at least 4 more years on that funding, so we are on target to fulfill that obligation on time.
And all of those funds are also located in your board report on the SharePoint drive that shows exactly how that money in your capital reports, how that money is allocated for each capital project. So we know down to the penny for federal, how we're gonna spend it and the projections for spending.
Great questions, guys.
Good question.
I'm impressed by some of these questions, actually. Any other questions?
Thank you, Glenn.
All right, thank you.
So, we'll move on to the Deputy Director's update. Ms. Walker?
Good morning, Board of Directors.
Morning.
We saw that FY 2025 was a good year financially, but it was also a great year administratively. We saw the development of a scorecard to track organizational efficiency. We saw the formation of new partnerships. We're working with Birmingham Promise. We brought on 2 interns. one from Winona High School, the other from Parker High School, who are working in our community, in our customer service and engagement department, as well as in maintenance. We also secured, as you know, $25 million for our new O&M facility. And so again, you will start to see movement on that project. We also in FY 2025 saw the expansion of our Maximizing Me professional development program, which now includes a new leadership series for new managers. And you'll hear more about that in our upcoming fiscal year. I want to also highlight targeted acquisition, talent acquisition for FY 2025. We secured senior level skilled individuals in procurement, human resources. You'll hear more from our human resources director and departmental reports later on in the meeting. Also in finance, as you know, we have a new controller, and in grants, we have a new grants manager. And we're happy to have each of those individuals on board. Also, you will hear in some of our departmental reports about other things that we're doing and accomplishments we made in FY 2025. I stand, and I know the board and Director Shaw does, amazed at the many contributions of our team this year, and we look forward to the progress that we make in the future. Thank you. Any questions?
All right, thank you, Ms. Walker.
Thank you.
Next, report from our CEO.
Good morning.
Good morning.
And that brings me to a holiday schedule that I want to talk about setting up for our staff who's worked hard all year, and I think they are due a break for December. And I know we have some other things we need to go through and discuss, and some of that will be under new business when Ms. Alice Gordon talks about performance evaluation and what you should expect. But for the month of October, I would suggest that we consider having a board meeting so you can go out in executive session. My performance evaluation for fiscal year 2025 is due. And of course, there may be some board changes in the very near future because of some term limitations and restrictions of our current board. And I am somewhat concerned that I don't want the new board coming in reviewing my current evaluation, as we have to onboard them, and that's going to take several days to do that. So I want us to consider a special, not a special call, but a board meeting in October, because we will need to take action. And I am suggesting October 23rd at 9 a.m. As some I already called, we can make that day. But I think we will need to have a vote on my current incentive package and some discussion that you all can go into in an executive session about possibly my option year or not. But I think some level of discussion will need to be made with the current board for that. And I'm also suggesting that we only have one board meeting in November, and we take off for the month of December and not have a committee meeting or a board member in the month of December. And that gives an opportunity for many of the team who's been working hard all year to take some time off, which I am encouraging them to do, to spend some valuable time with their families, as I am with mine. The month of November, we're looking at one meeting, not a committee meeting, but one board meeting. I mean, the month of November, one meeting, and the month of December, no meeting at all for the holiday schedule. And then also, I just want to make you aware that I went on an exchange trip with the Business Alliance, and I thank Daryl Perkins for ensuring that I was at the table, because this was a very important exchange trip in Greenville, South Carolina. It was sponsored by the BBA, and it provided a great opportunity for me to network with the business community and all the business leaders who went on that trip. There was about 35 to 40 of us, and we had an opportunity to spend quality time together for 2 days, where I gained great insight on what's going on in Birmingham as well as Alabama, all the innovation and the regional collaboration. So Daryl, I want to thank you for ensuring that I am at the table, and that, to my understanding, was the first time that a transit CEO was sitting at the table with all the business executives throughout the city. So that was a major accomplishment for us. And with that, I think there's some other things that are coming up that we will need to pay close attention to. Again, you have your board SharePoint site. I have asked Nick again to come up after in the operations committee to show how to go through your ridership data that is separated by mode, by BRT, fixed route, and microtransit. You have access to the 70-30 plan, reallocation plan. This shows information. We're continuing to work on dashboards that we're preparing for the first of the year for the 70-30 plan to track how we're doing on those applications. So again, you have a wonderful information site that gives you access to all the documents that you need to read, enabling legislation, my contract, and all the other things that are important based on our marketing program and our plan and what's coming up in the media, what's been in the media, and all those things that make you knowledgeable. To my knowledge, there is not such a SharePoint drive that exists for a board in this industry. And if it is, I don't know about it, because they're all calling me about this board, where the SharePoint site that we put together for you. So it is a valuable site with information. You can go on there and see any capital program and how we're tracking in our actuals and financials toward that capital program. So anything you need regarding status is on that board SharePoint site. And if you need additional help, Nick is available, and Herb, who is acting as our IT director, is available to help you go through that site to help you understand the data. Because it's important that you use your iPad and go through that information, as you may be asked questions by your municipalities on our performances and how we're doing. And with that, for now, that ends my finance and administration report.
Questions, comments? Thank you. I appreciate you getting with the business community, because I feel like that's a very important part of trying to get the whole city involved, the whole county involved in public transportation. They need to understand the importance, not just for the riders, but for the economy of the city. And I've been mulling over that thought for the past couple of nights. You know, what are we really doing here?
That's right.
You know, it's important to get people to where they need to be, but we've got to do something to build transit into the powerhouse it can be for the community. And, you know, transit-oriented development is a big thing. We're counting on you to bring, you know, take us through that also.
Yes.
But, you know, trying to get more money from the coffers is a tough job.
That's true.
And,
That's right.
and we can't really improve on what we have here now unless we have the funding to do that.
That's right. And I thank you for that comment.
It's hard to say which comes first, the chicken or the egg.
Right.
But we've got to keep pushing hard
That's
in
right.
that direction.
And Greenville economically is doing some great things, but they're having the same struggles we're having with funding with their transit organization. And everything is growing around Greenville, but the funding is not there for transportation, which is creating a problem for people to get around in Greenville, South Carolina as well, while the city is growing. And the residential market is so expensive that most people who are working an average job, making an average salary, can't afford to live in the city. So transportation is just as important to them now outside the city to get to the jobs in the city. So it was interesting to see them growing, but us having the same struggles around transportation.
All right. Thank you, Charlotte. We have no resolutions to consider, and departmental reports, I've read through them. They're self-explanatory, so.
We have an HR report for you. We have some reports for you. I think we have one for HR. Yep, come on up.
Okay.
And then we have one for contracts and procurement.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon again. I'm a little nervous, so just bear with me. But my name is Marva Morgan, and I am the Human Resource Director for BJCTA. And I'm here today to talk to you all about the excitement we had in our open enrollment, our benefits open enrollment communication meetings this week. We've never had open enrollment communication meetings with our employees prior to open enrollment, and the engagement was wonderful. We had not an empty seat in the building, and those meetings are going on currently right now as I'm speaking with my team. But we talked to them about the richness of the program, we talked to them about their benefits, and our open enrollment will start October 27th through the 31st. We'll also have vendor day immediately after open enrollment so that they'll have an opportunity to talk to vendors about their benefits and about their voluntary benefits as well. Thank you.
And Rita will skip your review to move on to the new business, but I do want to mention for contracts and procurement, the reason why we're able to take off for December is because all the resolutions that we would need are available, will be reported to you today and voted on at the next board meeting. So therefore, we have finished everything through January that we need to come to the board with resolutions. So that's, and then the ERP, I think is due today. Tomorrow, it's due tomorrow, and we're preparing some RFPs to go out to support our our capital department for fair collection and bus shelters. Did I get that right?
And C&G.
And C&G.
Thank you. All right, so we have no unfinished business. Under new business, I'd like to have Dr. Alice Gordon come up and give us a presentation about the CEO evaluation plan. Thank you for joining us today.
Absolutely.
Good morning, Board of Directors. Good morning. The executive leadership team, as well as community members and guests. My name is Dr. Alice Gordon Holloway, and I am the CEO and founder of Sky Connect Incorporated. And our firm has been retained and brought on to conduct the CEO evaluation process. And what I'll communicate this morning is the way that we're going to go about that particular process and provide details. All the board members at this time, we ask that you call your attention to the screen, and also to there's a physical presentation that is being sent to you or distributed. So my role in this is serve as the lead researcher as the founder of the organization, and our specialties retain the fact that we've been involved in working with organizations across the country since 2013. Some you'll recognize that are local and regional, some that are more national in scope. And our job is to be sure that we provide an independent third-party evaluation of the overall CEO and BJCTA Executive Leadership CEO, Ms. Shaw. Responsibilities as far as my experience and our team experience includes working in the corporate strategy arena, being able to look at organizational development assessment, understanding competitive analysis, corporate social responsibility issues, and of course, overall business management. So we feel very excited that we've been entrusted with this very sensitive and serious process here today. Overall, our agenda is going to be focused on a couple of key areas that I'll focus on. However, I do want to just give you a little insight. It will be a little bit longer than maybe a traditional overall presentation because we want to go deeper just a bit to communicate the complexity of this sort of evaluation and answer any questions you may have. So we'll discuss some of the board roles and responsibilities, organizational processes, OKRs, KPIs, and performance indicators, as well as the methodology associated with conducting this sort of initiative, the flow, the evaluation timeline, and next steps for the actual board. So we'll jump into it, and first of all, say, you know, I'm really happy to see so many board members here today. I'm looking forward to working with each one of you, but there are some particular responsibilities and roles that you all, of course, have and that you're entrusted to have as being a part of this organization. So some of those we've identified is that the board has strategic oversight rather than micromanaging day-to-day operations, as you're well aware of that. Your responsibilities are associated with governing successfully and effectively being prepared for meetings and reviewing documents, just to kind of stay engaged and stay ahead in what's happening in this moving organization that we are all working toward and working with today. And of course, your overall goal is to shape the overall talent structure and the succession planning and practices to really help to amplify performances. Although you don't manage day-to-day operations, you are supporting the executive CEO to do just that, which is your responsibility. And there are some critical areas associated with ensuring that we are having a high-performance board. In order to be a high-performing board and board member, there are several things that I want to kind of call your attention to. Certainly, you want to clearly understand the organization's purpose and its vision, mission, and of course, the extensive bylaws which govern this agency. You want to ensure that you provide insight and foresight and, of course, guidance and support for the executive director. That doesn't mean you don't ask the tough questions. You simply make sure you have information that will help you to make solid decisions going forward. Ensure the organization is fiscally responsible and has financial matters and policies and procedures in place. Prepare for these regular committee and board meetings as appropriate, as well as attending key meetings associated with your performance. Build a learning culture associated with collaboration and encouraging open discussion as well. And of course, to being a highly skilled board and board members, you are to complete a yearly evaluation, your CEO, executive director, to continually communicate your desires, your metrics, and your goals, and your expectations. And additionally, you shape the performance, of course, in the succession planning, and you help to prioritize the strategic clarity of the organization. Basically, continue things moving forward is your key responsibility as an effective board member. Now, we're going to jump into some of the goals and rationales, of course, associated with this. And to begin a process like this, we don't take it lightly that our responsibilities are pretty complex. So it looks like a lot of information on the screen because it is, but I'll quickly summarize as best I can because you will have this information in your SharePoint site and printed copy that you can refer back to, and I'm happy to answer questions, of course, at the end. But the performance evaluation process of your ED, for short, will be directly aligned with the strategic goals, mission, and the objectives of the organization itself. The evaluation process will maintain a clear and transparent link between the contractual performance outcomes and the overall accountability and remunerations of the organization itself. There will be reviewing of your baseline structures and key performance indicators, whereas many of the senior leaders are already forwarding information to us that we can really ascertain and review data points in a sound, effective manner. We're also going to openly conduct this process, and while I'm here today, to reinforce this governance practice and foster mutual trust and constructive dialogue that we hope that we will have as part of this process. And overall, develop the strategic framework that will reflect the strategic organization and the operational effectiveness desired by this organization. And with that being said, we're going to call this the RAB, which is basically the rationale, the assessment, and the benefit associated to doing this process. And certainly, as board members, you have a fiduciary responsibility in which to evaluate this high-level executive, no matter who that person happens to be in the seat, to allow the agency to prioritize and refocus, and ultimately align your goals with the transit organization as a whole. The benefits of this particular evaluation brings forth a lot of benefits for the visibility and sustainability of the BJCTA, of course, and you simply are helping to have this high degree of attainability to reach goals that are maybe easy to some, but stretch in other areas. Now, as I'm reviewing information, I want to call your attention to the fact that we are in a current new fiscal year. From what I understand, you've already started this new year. And so in reviewing some of the artifacts that we have, there is a performance review clause in Ms. Shaw's contract that basically is Section 3, Item F, which states that the board is to conduct a formal evaluation of her job performance for each fiscal year. Her job performance shall be evaluated with reference to the job duties and responsibilities specified in items A through W, and of course, be able to look at objectives established in pursuit of that agreement. The board and Shaw will meet to discuss her performance and be responsible for placing the matter on the agenda as we are doing today to begin this process. I just want to call your attention to the important nature of what we are embarking on in just a short time. The next thing we'll talk about is objectives and key results, as well as the key performance indicators in this next section. And so certainly this is subject to adjust and be changed, but there are several items in the actual contract that is just not simply based on the initial contract. It's based on a number of factors that are associated with this. And certainly I'm a quantitative researcher. That's the role that I play in my other life as well. But I really want to make sure that we look at some of these metrics here associated with this and other factors as well that I will add to this slide. But basically overall, we're looking at a number of elements associated with operational performance, financial stewardship and budget management, municipalities and stakeholder relations, board relations, customer satisfaction, your strategic vision and your innovation, fleet management, reliability and productivity, leadership and partnerships that have been developed, risk management and compliance with FTA and rules associated with this agency, legislative affairs, that is, she mentioned about one of the trips that she went through, so advocacy is really important, staff development and interpersonal opportunity, as well as the TOD training plan, because all of that is included in the initial A through W artifact that we've been reviewing already. However, there are other factors that I just want to mention that's not included on this slide. It includes things such as organizational growth, turnover retention rates, market share, risk management, as well as competitive advantage, and other things that help to improve the overall agency for stability going forward. Now let's look at the research design that will be pretty intense as well, but provides you a lot of insight that we're hoping to ensure we focus on. So there will be ratings and rankings for research design to include quantitative as well as quantitative analysis and metrics and data points to look at what has transpired in the last year for 2025, and also serve as a guidepost for recommendations for the 2026 actual contract for this executive. The goal of this performance evaluation is to create a transparent yet detailed and statistical analysis, analytical process that looks at various methodological frameworks and clearly defines research questions and objectives that are to meet the goals set forth. We also want to incorporate technological assessment instruments to ascertain insight that wouldn't be clear to the naked eye, so a good bit of technology that we'll use to look at various factors associated with this evaluation process. And we're going to clearly define data collection which is consistent and comparable across the respondents that we have. So we're not going to do, of course, a full 360 evaluation. However, we will have stakeholders that we will be talking to, municipal relations individuals, as well as to come up with a complete and clear picture of this particular executive. And we're going to look at monitoring the sample size, the data metrics, and aggregating this analysis that will be based on a 5-point rating scale and open-ended questions that you all will receive in a final report later on in this process. This may be a little hard to see, but there's a flow design as to what will happen when and where. So certainly just high level, there's this initial structural design that we'll create. We'll create sending out shortly after this meeting tomorrow. The directors will receive information from an external link to be able to submit respondents. There will be an 8 to 10 day window in order to get everything turned in as best we can to meet some of the deadlines that we've imposed here, as well as some scheduled interviews and structured interviews with our team members externally, and then we're receiving collection and summarizing that data analysis. That will take a little bit of time for us to develop that, and then we'll actually go forward with creating a draft summary of some of our findings, and then a more formal presentation in the November timeframe. The next detail, like I said, it's maybe hard to see, but a lot of information here regarding the timeline, which is very important for the evaluation for benchmarks and assessment. And so certainly we'll go through the operational agency data points. We'll look at developing this methodology that helps us to define this process. We will look at understanding and presenting this process to the community members, as well as, of course, the board members and the agency to have for review and discussion. We will look at drafting this summary report with our team members and present that summary assessment to you all to help you to have a baseline and making decisions going forward. That is, our responsibility is not to make decisions, but to provide you the information to which that decision will be based upon. This is just some next steps. It's just a streamlined version of the presentation of the design steps we included a moment ago, basically looking at right now, we're in this first piece here, this first phase, which looks at the procedures and evaluation that's set forth. And then we'll look at, of course, the assessment tool being delivered. So between now and the end of next week, we're asking board members to pay a little bit of close attention to emails. It may not necessarily be a personal email, but I will communicate to you as I have before as to what that link should look like, so it won't be considered as spam in case you get on your email. And then, of course, our goal is to have a summary a bit later this month, but it will not be the full evaluation that we will have, but it will provide you a lot of information as to where we are at that point in time, and have a final review and summary report submitted by the November 8th, week of November 8th. At this point, I would like to pause and answer any questions that the directors may have at this time.
So, I'll start off. How many performance reviews such as this has your company done?
We have done, if I remember the number correctly, this should be our 4th CEO evaluation for BJCTA in particular. And then we actually have done a number of evaluation processes and summary for agencies. Some you'll see on the front page there, but we definitely have done some work with Dannon Project. We've done work with the board at Girl Scouts. We've done work with the city of Birmingham when they were going through some mayor council situations, as well as the city of Fairfield and others as well. So we have a track record. We have Pathways, which is another organization we've done executive board work as well. We just finished about 90 people with the United Way as well several months ago with their executive leadership and staff. So we have a little bit of experience in this area.
So this is your 4th evaluation for us?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm familiar with transit. We've actually been working with Jefferson County Transit Authority over the years, probably the last 10 or 12 years.
Thank you.
We've been a bit dormant for about 5 years, but we're happy to be a support.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions? All right. Dr. Gordon, thank you so much. Look forward to participating in your program.
Thank you. Thank you for your time and your confidence.
So with that, I'll adjourn the Finance and Administration Committee meeting. Thank you.
If everybody's ready to move on, I'll start the Planning and Program Development Committee meeting Thursday, October 16th, 2025. I'll call to order. Roll call. One.
Director Flegel,
Here.
Director Inman,
Present.
Committee Chair Smith,
President.
Mr. Chair, you do have a quorum.
We need to vote to adopt the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Any abstentions? That motion passes. We need to move the approval of the minutes from August 21st, 2025.
I move the approval of the August 21st minutes.
Second.
It's been moved and properly second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion passes. Already had the executive director's report, right?
No, that was the finance, I have,
Go ahead.
each committee, I have a little something to say.
Okay.
But I just wanted to report that the BIA contract, has been completed with the city of Birmingham. So Director Emmett, I talked about to see if we have any idea when we make it. Do we need to invoice that, or we can work out the logistics of that, how we get the funding for that piece to come over to BJCTA. So, but that is a very huge, win for us, because we've been trying for a long time to get BIA under our umbrella. So now all the transportation is under one centralized group, which is where it should be with BJCTA. And I'm very happy that the city of Birmingham worked with us for that transition. And also, the next resolution is coming up for you. I'm happy to say that that money for the federal side is coming from our relationship again with the Regional Planning Commission, right? That's huge, because we haven't had to purchase many of our microtransit vans as part of our reallocation program, because RPC has been very instrumental in providing the federal funding for microtransit vans, and we just have to bless you. And we just have to do the local funding. So with that, that ends my report for operation.
Any questions, Ms. Jones? We have a capital planning update.
All right, good morning, Board of Directors, Chair Smith, and Executive Director Shaw. I am Vitanji Peak, Senior Director of Capital Planning and Project Delivery. I am pleased to brief you all an update on some of our key capital projects. I'll start with mobile app and website redesign. Our weekly design meetings are ongoing. We are preparing for user acceptance testing in early to mid-November, which will include a select group of our customers, our internal board members, and other municipality leaders. We are on target for a soft launch for our mobile app and website redesign, just in time for a wonderful Christmas present this year. Just want to give kudos to the team who is working so diligently to get this mobile app and website redesign just on the streets and moving. For our Forestdale CNG station, we have bi-weekly design meetings as scheduled. We will have an invitation for bid that will be going out on the streets on November 20th, and we remain on track for a complete and open new CNG station by 2027. A quick update on our 70/30 program. You will hear a lot of my colleagues come up behind me and report outs on this program as well, but I just want to let you all know that we continuously have a bi-weekly route redesign meeting. Our October 27 changes are on schedule. As you know, there's not any critical route changes. We're just doing we're just removing some of these underutilized bus stops, as well as readjusting some of our time points within our schedules as well. We've hired a new senior service planner. As you all know, Brittany Thomas, who was our planning manager, left a few months ago. So for the next board meeting, I will reintroduce and introduce our new planning team, which consists of our senior service planner and Ms. Morgan Malden. I just want to remind all the board members that all project schedules are on your board SharePoint site. If you go to your documents, you click capital program, and then each fiscal year, starting from fiscal year 23, all of key projects are outlined in your SharePoint site. I want to also personally thank our CEO for her due diligence and making sure that she keep us on track and on schedule as it comes down to capital programs. As you all know, 2 years ago, I got into this role. I'm not saying I was afraid, I was a little scared, but I believe with her capital program and construction background, it has really helped us deliver what we are today. And I'm happy to address any questions that the board may have, and if you do not have any, I thank you today.
I did have one question, just for clarification. So are you guys going to be able to adhere to the November deadline for the mobile app?
The deadline for mobile app for the city of Birmingham is January, but we're gonna have it ready by December this year.
From November to
We have
January?
We have in the contract, it talks about the testing for November,
Yes.
the user testing, so we will be able to do the user testing for November. That's coming out, yes.
In November.
And we hope to be able to get on schedule with the city council in Birmingham to show them a demo in one of the November meetings. So let's talk about that and coordinate it, because we're ready for a demo. But James Fowler and possibly O'Quinn, President O'Quinn, will be part of that user testing.
Any other questions? Thank you.
That's all the reports from the division. Any more reports?
Yeah, we do. We have customer service. Some of this is operation.
Good morning, name is Tavares Foster, and I serve as the Senior Director of Customer Experience. And I just want to share a few of the great things that have happened this year. We've had a great year in customer experience, and I just want to share some of the highlights of this year. One thing we focused on is our community engagement and increasing our community engagement, making sure our customers are aware of what's happening. Some of the feedback we have received in the past is, customers wanting to make sure they know what's going on, us being here to answer their questions. And just most recently, last Wednesday, we had a community engagement meeting here at our intermodal facility. And we start off those meetings making sure that our customers understand the why and our mission and our vision and our values, and know that we don't do things just to do things, but there's always a great reason behind what we're doing, and it's all to make our system better for them. In that meeting, several came in thinking that things were going to happen that were not going to happen. Some thought we were changing a lot of routes and all, the buzz in the street is BJCTA is doing this and doing that. But what we were able to do is dispel those rumors and provide them with the facts. And our customers left that meeting happy and encouraged. We had some that didn't even say the whole time. They said, I got to catch my bus, and thank you for what you're doing. So we had a great meeting that day. We went to the Oak Ridge neighborhood meeting on this past Monday, and I had a great meeting there. There was a 7-year-old rider that said she's been riding this system for more than 50 years, and she talked about how we do a lot of complaining, and people, complain, but she said she's seen how far this system has come, and she thanked us for the job that we do each and every day and the direction that this organization is going. So we're out and we're able to hear the testimonials of our customers and to hear how much without us, they couldn't get to that doctor's appointment. They can't get to school. You have your elderly that may not get to the grocery store to buy groceries. So those were very encouraging meetings, and we're continuing to do engagement as we work with the neighborhood officers and city council, getting into that neighborhood, letting them know that we'll come to your neighborhood to talk to any of your residents that want to talk to us and that have any questions. Our customer feedback, we've seen an increase in feedback, and that increase is because customers know we're serious about handling their feedback. When you contact our call center or when you leave feedback online, it doesn't fall on deaf ears. Years ago, that was the issue that most of our customers had, so they stopped talking to us and telling us what the issues were. Now our customers tell us, the issues they have because they get callbacks, and they know that we're very serious about making sure we address their concerns and investigate their concerns and take action. One thing, our Mass Foundation, I just want to invite everybody on the 22nd of October at the Central Station location, our Mass location, we have Customer Appreciation Day. Ms. Yoshiko Davis has been working very hard with several of our partners to make sure that we're going to have several resources for our employees and customers. We have United Way, the League of Women Voters, the Birmingham Public Library. We'll have Heal on Wheels and Food for Your Journey, and several other vendors that will be there that day to provide assistance to our customers. We'll have this information in the board SharePoint site, so if you have any questions about that. And also, I forgot to mention on the community engagement piece, our attendance. We have customers that show up for those meetings. We had a very well-attended meeting on last Monday, and we're very happy about that, to see customers come in and us have that dialogue with them. If you have any questions, that's all that I have, but if you have any questions for me, I can answer that at this time.
I only have one. We have a big event, of course, the Magic City Classics coming up. We kind of attend to those areas for this time. Having services or anything for those.
So on the Classic, we normally run, Mr. Lacey answered that, we normally run our regular service, but if you would like to speak to the services on the Classic, I think in the past we run our regular service.
Yes, sir. For the Classic, we are part of a couple events, and we will extend our service. A tailgate concert that's going on at the race course, and we also are partnering with Birmingham, the city of Birmingham, to do Cars and Coffee with NASCAR. So those are big events that's coming up next week for us, Thursday and Friday.
I want to thank you for the online app that we have, the mobile on-demand app. I've shared it with a number of people that love it. So thank you all for putting that in place. Numbers are going up as a result of putting the information out for you.
Any more questions? No. Thank you, Trevor.
Thank you.
resolutions and considerations for approval. We have resolution 2026-06. Can you read the resolution?
Yes, sir. Resolution 2026-06. Approval of resolution 2026-06 granting authority to the executive director, CEO, or her designee to execute an agreement with WSP for professional services that encompasses transit operations, mobile app development, fare collection system enhancements, and other critical transit services for a not to exceed amount of $279,000.
You heard the resolution. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Seconded.
It's moved and properly seconded. Is there any discussion on this item? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? That motion passes. Resolution 2026-07.
Yes, sir. Resolution 2026-07. Approval of resolution 2026-07 granting authority to the executive director, CEO, or her designee to amend the current contract between Birmingham Jefferson County Transit Authority and Yvonne Green Davis Esquire. This procurement action extends the contract term for 12 months to December 31st, 2026, and it increases the contract amount by $150,000 for a total not to exceed amount of $362,500. $500,000, excuse me.
You heard the resolution. Is there a motion?
So moved. I move the acceptance of resolution 2026-07.
Second.
Properly seconded. Any discussion on this item?
I have a question, if I may. What tasks or jobs has she performed for us in the past, and have those been completed satisfactory and on time, and so on?
Absolutely, and Martinji can probably go further into the detail, but Yvonne is priceless when it comes to her legal expertise in real estate, TOD. She's done the awning. Remember, she was our attorney who helped us with the purchase of the awning facility. She's continuing to monitor that because there's land on that property that we still need to consider. So she's doing all of the discussions with the owner for that additional land right now. And she's also, she's working some other things. Martinji, you want to come and give a list? Because she's invaluable to us and has been for her performance with us since the inception of our capital program.
Yes, and just to add to that, as you know, the board just passed the TOD policy and guidelines. That was put together by Yvonne Davis Green as well, in conjunction with myself and Helen McSwain. So she's doing a lot as we move forward in TOD, as you talked about that a little bit earlier, Director Parker, as we have to advance TOD here in the city of Birmingham. There's going to be a lot of P3 coordination and so forth. So Yvonne, along with Helen McSwain and myself, we're taking on those initiatives as relates to TOD, as well as the things that she's doing for O&M, and not just O&M, but also our other additional parcels we have available. We have to find potential tenants for these buildings as well. And she has exceeded expectations, honestly.
She's also putting the task together for our financial advisors and our she's supporting the same McSwain group to do that, as well as our legal advisors for the TOD activities.
Any other questions? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Item passes and moves on to the executive board. Is there any other department reports? Any unfinished business? Any new business? With that, planning and development community meeting is adjourned.
We hereby call to order. Meeting of the Operations Committee members, please
Chair Cunningham.
Here.
Director Davis. Chair Jones. Committee Chair, you do have a quorum.
Thank you. Next item is the adoption. Gentlemen, do we have a motion to accept the agenda as read? That motion is made, second. All in favor? Aye. Next item is the approval of minutes for August 21st and 25. We have a motion. That adoption has been moved and second. All in favor? That's been approved. And now we're to our executive director's report.
Thank you, Director Cunningham. So I just want to mention, for this particular group, they really seek to amaze me, to be limited and restricted with staff, workforce development challenges, and then they continue to meet or exceed the goal. And when we don't, they get right back on top of it to exceed it for the following month. So what you're going to hear today is some of that information, and then I've asked Nick to report to you on some of that KPI data that's in your SharePoint drive, just so that you can see the kinds of increases and kinds of things that we're doing for microtransit and BRT. But to hear these numbers, I just want to reiterate them to you over and over again until the board is really used to hearing the kinds of increases. And if they decrease, we absolutely know why. There was a time we didn't know why something would decrease or something did not happen with our numbers. With the expansion and with the adding Dr. Nick Tidy to this team for data analysis, it has been also invaluable to get this information to be able to understand when we miss the mark, why. And then we can immediately, what happens is immediately Stan's team, his operational team, gets right on top of why things are happening the way they are, so we can ensure to meet our benchmarks. So I just wanted to give you that kind of overview and general summary before they come up and speak with you, because you'll have an idea of where we've been and the numbers we have previously come from to where we are today. Thank you.
I want to thank Nick for the job he's doing. He is a micro detailed person when it comes to numbers.
Yes,
You don't know why Ant goes to the right to ask Nick, he can tell you. So thank you for doing a great job. It means a lot to us in the decision making for the operation. Great job.
I call him Dr. Tidy when that is on his eyes.
Long reports, amen, thank you. Now we have our next item, is operation.
Good morning, Committee Chair Cunningham, Board of Directors, Director Shaw. My name is Stanley Lacey, and I proudly serve as the Senior Director of Operations. I am here to report out on the month of September 2025, and I am pleased to share continued progress across all our areas as we move forward under the 70-30 plan. And we'll start with fixed route. On fixed route, on-time performance for the month of September came in at 65%, which is steady with our previous months. And while on-time performance is not the only indicator of success, it is a key performance indicator that we take seriously. And compared to last year, September 2024, we are 10%, we've seen a 10% increase in on-time performance. As far as missed trips, we completed 98% of our trips for the month of September, which is so close to our 100% goal. Staffing overview, we are continuing to recruit for operators and work with human resources. And we are 84% staffed. On paratransit, came in at 62% on-time performance. And we have challenges on paratransit, and we are working with compliance and ADA to fix those challenges. However, for the month of September, we completed a total of 7,117 trips for the month of September, which is outstanding. The paratransit staffing for September stood at 85% with 28 full-time operators and 2 part-time operators. Microtransit, on the microtransit side, we continue to show steady growth in ridership and customer satisfaction. We completed a total of 4,752 max on-demand rides for the month of September, including 175 airport trips and 50 Mountain Brook trips. And we are working with marketing to increase our airport trips. I had the privilege of utilizing the service this Friday for Parked at Central. Booked my trip on the app and was picked up within like 7 or 8 minutes with microtransit and taken to the airport. And also saved $68 because the airport increased from $12 a day to $15 a day. Parking. We also received 622 five-star ratings for our riders, which is a strong indication that service is being well received and continue to meet expectations. We also, for community engagement, we were a part of an Epic Elementary School Festival in September. And we also have our electric bus is going to be featured in the Alabama Power video, which they shot a video in September at Central Station. And it's no surprise that so many of the communities and the partnerships around here are requesting our services. To your question earlier, Director Cunningham, we have a lot of communities, a lot of businesses asking for our services and can we participate in different engagements. So that's a testament to our success and the image that we have with the community. In closing remarks, under the 70-30 plan, our focus remained on performance, accountability, and innovation. As we move through the final quarter of the year, we're seeing positive signs of stabilization and impact across fixed route, paratransit, and microtransit. We remain committed to improving the rider's experience and expanding access through reliable, responsive transit service. Thank you, Committee Chair Director Cunningham, Director Davis, for your support. And at this time, I'll be happy to entertain any questions.
I just have one question. With the delay in government shutdown, increases in insurance, those things that deal with the costs associated with paratransit, are those things affecting some of the issues that we can have?
No, not at this time, no, sir.
And don't forget, Director Cunningham, because of our positive position, we stand pretty strong in case of difficulties from that level. But, you know, remember our money goes into a trust fund for transportation. So, under the Department of Transportation. So we're sitting pretty strong when some other industries are not. Right? And some of our colleagues in this field are not sitting as cash positive. But we're in a good position.
I commend you on creating that environment. Our CFO with Trey Law done a fantastic job keeping those numbers where we were prepared for the economy slumps and other people have issues. With cash positive, it helped us glide through those areas, and that is great accountability and planning. That's what that does. So I want to commend you on for that. And doing a great job. I want to ask you on. We created a great database about a year and a half ago with the clergy community. Please forward all of the new information to those emails. That would help me greatly get it out to them. We have a huge database that we committed when we had the clergy come in the Birmingham area. Please forward Trey all that information on how your events. Please include them in that because they will be valuable to you in getting information out to you. They all come in on the ride, taking the ride to the airport, and they are excited about what you all do. So I just want to give you a kudos for that.
Thank you. Thank you. Any other questions?
I got two questions.
Yes, sir.
One question, you probably already answered it before, but I just need to, in my head. The VIA employees, will they be with us or are they gonna still be individual?
They're independent, but they're similar to the same contractual relationship they have with the city of Birmingham. They contracted them directly, so now we're contracting them directly for the downtown zone.
Okay, so
just the downtown.
VIA is gonna be handling their salaries.
VIA will continue to handle those vans for the downtown zone only.
And the Nashville event, will the board members be invited to that event?
To which one?
The NASCAR.
NASCAR, oh, it's a Cars and Coffee, show, and it's downtown. All we're doing is for the food trucks that they normally have on Fridays, they're going to put them at City Walk. So we're going to provide shuttle service, and also, I mean, it would be nice if you all rode, we're going to unveil our microtransit, our new microtransit vehicle. So all we'll be doing is provide shuttle service for the City of Birmingham employees at the short 20th Street over to City Walk, and we also will be shuttling employees here to go and participate in a food truck. And that was recommended by the mayor of Birmingham that we participate in that with NASCAR.
One more question. The vans that we're about to buy, is RPC supporting us on those?
Yeah,
Oh, we already have them.
Okay.
they're very nice too. I wish we had brought one. We'll bring one to the next meeting, and we're gonna get, I'm gonna get Amanda to plan a day where we do a leadership day to do rides, where we go around and pick up leaders throughout the day and ride on public transit as well as microtransit. So we're gonna plan that, but as you can imagine, it's gonna take a little bit of planning, but hopefully you all will, we can, get some of these rides, especially these microtransit, but that van is absolutely wonderful. If you've seen rooms, it's kind of similar to that, just a lot newer, a whole lot. And then I just want to bring attention to one more thing, and I think we need to outline it. We do have been getting some complaints, because you made around paratransit. Remember, you just heard a very large number, 7,000 rides, 65% on-time performance. So this is where I want to help understand the importance of how a lot of ridership can impact on-time performance. And on-time performance for paratransit is 65%. It's not bad. And we like to see more, but because we're not fully staffed, remember, in paratransit, but we have a very large burden on paratransit. And Lakeisha has been tasked, she and her ADA compliant employee have been tasked with managing and help us to reduce the number of people by reassessing who really needs paratransit. Because we know we have some people in paratransit who don't necessarily need that service. And we want to move them and transition them back to fixed route. But until we do that, just know we have a very large group of people that we're trying to accommodate who has not been assessed in years to see if they still qualify for the system.
That's the question I was asking with the insurance assessments that can affect their ability to ride. Right. Because they may know they're not approved and just not make an appointment, not show up.
That's right.
So that's what I was asking with those insurance inconsistencies that could affect.
That's right.
I'm a person who I know I'm supposed to be receiving this benefit, but I know I'm no longer part. Instead of me canceling an appointment, I can't show up.
That's right.
So that'll affect our numbers.
Those no-shows impact us a lot. Because when we go pick up those riders and they don't show up, remember, they took a ride from someone else who's waiting for that ride.
That's the point I was making.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, I did have a request for the BJCTA fixed route and BRT app. Because I see for the ridership numbers, they're including BRT. If the fixed route and BRT could be separate, is there any way we can pull just the fixed route numbers out?
We do show them.
Yeah, I think when Dr. Titan comes up, he'll be able to show you in your SharePoint or on your board where you can separate those numbers.
Okay, all right. And I'll have to get with you guys, because you say all this stuff in SharePoint, I can't see. It may just be an access
He can help
issue,
you,
but I
he can help you
see.
individually, but you can filter that dashboard, and he's gonna show that a little bit today, but he can work with you directly to show you how to filter the information.
Okay.
Not only by mode, but you can filter by municipality.
Okay, yeah, I can see that. Okay, all right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right,
I think we have the resolution next. Is that the next on the agenda? Not departmental report yet. Yeah, we have resolutions next.
He said that right now.
thank you, Councilman.
Now, you said we get the resolution out of this list down or this, you can just, it won't take us long, man, not really will not hold you. We only have one resolution for consideration and approval, resolution 2026-05.
Resolution 2026-05, approval of resolution 2026-05, granting authority for the executive director, CEO, or her designee to execute a contract to purchase 2 microtransit vans with a not-to-exceed cost of $153,948.50.
We have a motion to accept this. So, second, all those in favor of that, I'm ready for some questions. All in favor, aye. Opposed, have the same right, this resolution passed. Resolution 2026-5 passed. We will now move on to continuous amendment.
Thank you. All right, good morning, Chair Cunningham, members of the board, and Director Shaw. I'm William Taylor, serving as the Senior Director of Maintenance. In addition to my current role, Director Shaw has asked me to oversee facility maintenance as well as safety and security. For the month of September, our overall fleet performance across all key performance indicators was very strong. For preventive maintenance, if you recall some months ago, we discussed that in detail, but our preventive maintenance performance exceeded our standards for the month of September. And as a reminder, preventive maintenance involves the routine inspections, servicing, and repair of equipment or assets to prevent unexpected failures and expand their operational lifespan. Our on-time performance for preventive maintenance for the month of September, our fixed route, microtransit, and non-revenue fleets all exceeded our goal 100% on time. Our paratransit fleet met the FTA's goal on-time performance at 88%. Our second KPI we'll talk about today, mean distance between failure. All service modes met or exceeded our goal of 5,000 miles in between failure. Again, mean distance between failure is a key reliability metric that measures the average distance an asset travels before experiencing a failure. So the higher that number, the least breakdown or disruptions we have in service. The more that number, then the more we have disruptions in service and we have to go rescue the vehicle. Our fixed route MDBF for the month is 5,860 miles between failure. Our fixed route fleet, our 300 series buses experienced the highest number of defects. We have developed campaigns for that fleet. We'll replace all of the airbags, that's campaign number 1, to help reduce the amount of failures we have in service. And our last campaign is go and check and replace all coolant hoses that are defective. Our BRT fleet achieved 22,222 miles between failures with 0 service calls for the month of September. That's amazing. Our paratransit fleet, we achieved 10,496 miles in between failure. We did experience 3 roll calls in our engine department and as well as our wheelchairers. The month of November, we do anticipate the arrival of 7 brand new paratransit vans. Let's clap on that one. If you all knew the trouble we had with those vehicles, you would celebrate with us. But those vans that will be replaced are our oldest vans in the fleet. They have exceeded their useful lives, and we can't wait to replace those.
Is that paratransit?
Paratransit, yes. Lastly, our microtransit fleet, we achieved 21,677 miles in between failure. And like the BRT fleet, they experienced no defects for the month of September. The last 2 comments I'll make for our safety and security department. We continue to make progress upgrading our safety camera system, and our facility maintenance department, we're continually adding new facility technicians and custodians. We remain focused and proactive in filling the remaining vacancies. Any questions?
I have one.
Yes, sir.
So with this transition to microtransit, do we have sufficient maintenance personnel to perform maintenance on these type of vehicles versus buses, which requires a different, I would imagine, different skill set?
Well, amazingly, they're similar and skill sets required to maintain them. Right now, we do have enough techs to maintain them, but as our fleet continues to age, we're gonna have to add more technicians to our department.
But remember, most of our vans, 100% of our vans are new right now. So we're looking at that within the next 2 to 3 years.
The vans?
Yeah.
No, we have
Yeah,
a significant number have useful life.
No, the microtransit. Microtransit.
Oh, no, yes, you're correct. And we have 2 more coming, so that's gonna really help us meet the
And they have
service
the
needs of our
warranty for
department.
what? How long?
We're under warranty with the new Hondas. We usually get 12 months, 12,000 miles for bumper to bumper. But each manufacturer have their own differences about the remaining warranties that apply to each vehicle.
Thank you for doing a great job. Appreciate what you're doing and keep it up.
You're welcome. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, man.
Good morning, Board of Directors. Good morning, Director Shaw. I'd like to draw your attention to the SharePoint site for that dashboard that was raised earlier. If Rhonda could please bring that up.
That's not it.
It's not here. It's not even what's on the screen.
Sorry, take your time.
Yeah, so the dashboard that is on the SharePoint site right now is sort of midway down on it. And what the dashboard shows is ridership and other metric information based on the 4 modes of transit that we have that Director Lacey previously went through. Starting off, we can see the fixed route and BRT page.
So Nick, I'm gonna suggest you bring the mic over here and come and
Oh, yeah.
control the laptop. That way you can control your slides.
Okay, I can do that.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Because you might be able to.
No worries, okay. So, fixed route and BRT. What we can see here is the dashboard. The top row charts is 12-month ridership, and what this enables us to do is each bar represents 12 months of ridership. So for September data, that is October 24 through September 25 ridership. The reason why we show 12 month is for 2 reasons. One, it removes seasonality, and secondly, it enables us to see the actual health of that service. The second row of charts is the ridership by month. So for example, recently we just completed September, so you can see September monthly ridership by fixed route, including BRT. And then finally, we have the on-time performance charts down here. With this first page, you're able to drill down and filter the data by city, by route, and by district for the city of Birmingham. So you can actually see the performance of our service in each of those areas. And to address Director Inman's question earlier about being able to separate BRT from that data, if we were to go to route here, and we've got, if we select all, route BRT is classed here as route 100, so you unselect route 100 from that, and the data should change, and you should be able to see the data excluding the BRT. Any questions on this first page? Perfect. We'll move to microtransit. Microtransit, again, similarly, we show a 12-month rolling on this first chart, and then we also have the ridership by vendor, so Max versus Via in terms of total rides we have. Then we have this other chart down here called Met Demand Rate. That is, are we able to offer you a ride, yes or no? And we have an internal target of 90% in our department. And for the month of September, we saw a 92% Met Demand Rate. And then finally, we have a monthly ridership again, and we can see that is growing. But again, as I pointed about seasonality, that will change based on year. There's also a table here which shows the current microtransit zones we have and who they are operated by. And again, you can drill into this data by looking at the zone and filtering on each zone specifically to understand how each zone is performing. Finally, we have paratransit. Again, becoming familiar, we have the 12-month rolling ridership numbers for paratransit. We're typically seeing just over 100,000 rides per year at the moment. And then we also have the same breakout of by month. And then with paratransit, we have two other metrics. This is on the left, percent of trip that end in the same city. So what you're able to do is, again, filter on the pickup city. And so if I were to filter on Birmingham, how many of those trips ended in Birmingham and how many ended in another city? And then based on that, you would see where did those other trips end as a percentage. Now with Birmingham, because it's such a large area, you typically would expect the majority to end in Birmingham, but other municipalities may end in other locations, and their own municipality may not be the top destination for paratransit rides. That concludes the dashboard. Any questions on that at all?
That kind of help you determine where we need to have our rides at the most what you explained.
Yes. Yes, so what this data also enables us to do is identify, so especially specifically to the 70-30, is areas of ridership that we need to focus on, and also areas that perhaps could be candidates for transitioning to microtransit.
So those demand can also fluctuate, which means we can alter it constantly.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Correct, yeah.
Gotcha. I mean, you all can alter.
And then finally, I just want to draw your attention down further to the 70-30 updates that we did for May, so you can see those tracked changes that we introduced for May. And to Director Shaw's point, we are actively working on creating a dashboard to track these 70-30 changes, and aim to have that for you beginning of next year. Thank you.
You have any questions? Anyone have any questions? Thank you all for this. Next on line would be unfinished business. Next we have new business. Entertain a motion for adjournment. Motion been presented, accepted. Hereby adjourned. Thank you all for attending.
Thank you. Thank you. Good job, Chief.
Good job.
Very informative. Good, thank you. Yeah, hey, it's working. Oh, okay. Yeah.